Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Recording in progress.
Devaki Nandanaya Cha. Nanda Gopakumaraya. Govindaya Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtake. So dear devotees, you are all welcome for a study of the Bhakti Vaibhav 5th canto. We are in chapter 6, and in this chapter particularly we have disappearance of Lord Rishabdev and then the imitation of Lord Rishabdev by certain king by name Aharan in South India, Karnataka. So this is a small chapter with 19 verses only, and the first section is verse number 1 to 5, nature of the mind. Connection with the previous verse is that hearing that Rishabdev did not welcome mystic powers, Parikshit inquires. So yesterday we discussed that because Rishabdev stopped all fruitive activities and his knowledge become mature, so all the different perfection of mystic yoga appeared within his person, and he did not accept them. So now Parikshit is asking this question, Raja Ovacha, Na nonam bhagava atma ramanam yoga samirita gyaan avbharajita karma bijanam aishwaryani punha kaleshadani bhavitam aharanti yat shreha upagatani. So the question is, this is the question by Parikshit Maharaj. What is the question? King Parikshit said, O Lord Bhagavaha, for Atmaram, who have burned up avbharajita, the seed of karma bijanam, by knowledge produced through yoga samirita gyana, the mystic power aishwaryani, which arise of their own yad richaya upagatani, should not produce suffering again, punha kaleshdani bhavitum aharanti. So King Parikshit asked Sukdev Goswami, my dear Lord, for those who are completely pure in heart, how they are pure in heart? Because they attain the knowledge. How they attain the knowledge? By practice of bhakti. What Srila Prabhupada is writing, there are two types of knowledge. One knowledge is speculative knowledge, which is for the gyanis, and the other knowledge is byproduct of bhakti. Bhakti gives rise to gyaan and vairag. Gyaan means knowledge, vairag means vishesh, rag means special attachment to Krishna, so automatically one is detached from the material engagements. So this is the Prabhupada is writing, Srila Prabhupada, the knowledge which is attained by practice of bhakti. So this knowledge is not a knowledge of a gyani, but is a knowledge as a byproduct of bhakti. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Gyana Vairag Asav. This is the verse in the first canto. And the attachment for fruit is completely burned to ashes, which actually means vairag. in one sense, because he has no attachment to anything. So these are the two byproduct of bhakti in Srila Prabhupada's purport, because he has no attachment to any fruitive activities, which means he is detached completely. For such people, the power of mystic yoga automatically arises, means they get the mystic yogic perfections. They do not cause distress, means these mystic power, they will not disturb them. Why then did Rishabdev neglect them? So Srila Prabhupada, so the verse summary is, why did Rishabdev neglect mystic power? So Srila Prabhupada writes, a pure devotee is constantly engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever is necessary for discharge of devotional service is automatically attained, though it may appear to be a result of mystic yogic power. So what Srila Prabhupada is writing actually is that when we perform the pure devotional service, the perfection which are by mystic yoga automatically appear in the automatically attained by devotional service. Sometime a yogi displays a little yogic power. Now Srila Prabhupada is speaking of somebody in India who used to produce a pinch of gold and used to have many followers, and the followers used to call him Bhagavan. So it is like something, this particular person is coming in Srila Prabhupada's memory, and therefore he is writing, sometime a yogi displays little yogic power by manufacturing gold. This little quantity of gold captivates foolish people, and thus the yogi gets many followers who are willing to accept such a tiny person as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such yogi may also advertise himself as Bhagavan. So this is somebody, and there are so many such people in India, but this is particular person Prabhupada is referring. However, a devotee does not have to exhibit such magical wonders. Without practicing mystic yogic process, he achieves even greater opulence all over the world. So when Srila Prabhupada is writing here, without practicing mystic yogic process, he achieves even greater opulence all over the world. Now when Srila Prabhupada is writing this line, he is simply thinking that he did never practice mystic yoga, but he has so much opulence all over the world. And so these all perfections are already within the person of a devotee who is completely dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord. Under these circumstances, now Prabhupada is coming to the purport. He spoke something about philosophy. Rishabdev refused to manifest mystic yogic perfection, and Maharaj Parikshit asked why he did not accept them, since for a devotee they are not at all disturbing. A devotee is never distressed or dissatisfied by material opulence. His concern is how to please Supreme Personality of Godhead. If by grace of Supreme Lord a devotee achieves extraordinary opulence, he utilizes the opportunity for the Lord's service. He is not disturbed by these opulences. So, Chakravarti writes, hearing Rishabdev did not welcome mystic power, Parikshit asked a question. O great soul, for the Atmarams who have burned up the seeds of karma by knowledge arising from best yoga, the powers, best yoga means bhakti yoga. The power should not be harmful, since enjoyment which arises suddenly is not harmful. So, what we can think about this question is, what Srila Prabhupada's purpose is, devotees may get all these opulences, but they are not disturbed by these opulences. Any example of a devotee who has opulence and still he is not carried away by those opulences? Anybody has something to say?
Srila Prabhupada Maharaj.
Yeah, Prabhupada himself has so much opulences all over the world. He has followers and every television channel and every he was flying every next days, but he was never allured by that, and he never falsely claimed that he is God. Yeah, Prabhupada is personally what he's writing in this purport is something he's comparing with somebody in India. He has a good following by showing some little magic, but Prabhupada is saying, I have not done anything, but still I have more opulence than that person. Anybody else in the history? Opulence is used in the service of Krishna. The person has opulence, but he has used all that for the service of Krishna, not disturbed or allured or carried away by those opulences. Any such example, by the way, I'm asking. You can.
Ambarish Maharaj.
Ambarish Maharaj, all these kings, basically speaking, in one sense, Ambarish Maharaj, as Yudhishthira Maharaj, or Parikshit Maharaj, they were opulent like anything. They were emperors, but still they were never carried away by those opulence. They were always thinking themselves how to serve and please Krishna. Yes. All these great Raj Rishis are having all the powers at their hand, but they never misuse those powers. Some other?
Only 6
Raghunathas.
Sorry?
Raghunathas Baba.
Yeah,
All the
Raghunathas Baba.
not one or at least 3 of those Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they were at a higher post. They left all these Shrani Tuchhavat. They were the great ministers and opulent people. They left all those people. They were never polluted or corrupted by those things. And even when they were here, they had, like Sanatana Goswami, have this touchstone, which is more than a magic, but he just put in a garbage. It means then there's also a good example that he never used that, and he just thought it's useless as rubbish. Why he did that, I think that will be the answer in the next verse. Anyway, so next verse we are reading Rishi Uvacha, Satyamuktam, what you said is truth. Kintu ihiva eke na manaso, eke means those who are really highly elevated. Srila Prabhupada says someone. Adha vishrambham avasthanasya shathak kirata eva sangachanti. So, Sukdev Goswami, Rishi Sukdev Goswami replied, My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animal, Shatthuk Kirat, Kirat means hunter. Ev means just like. Cruel hunter, Shatha. So after capturing animal, a cunning hunter, Shatha Kirat, does not put faith in them, means captured animal, for they might run away. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life, AK, do not put faith in mind, manaso. AK na manaso adha. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's action. So, never trust mind, it is like an animal. Srila Prabhupada's purport says, now Srila Prabhupada is quoting a verse from Bhagavad Gita, Yagna dana tapa karam na tyajam karyam eva tyajyo danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishninam. Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up but should be performed. Indeed, the sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the greatest soul. So why Srila Prabhupada is quoting this verse? Anybody has to say something? What about, he should have quoted some words from Bhagavad Gita, difficult to control mind and how to control mind. But why he has used this verse here? Can you apply your mind? But I'm just throwing a question. Prabhupada has quoted this verse here, and the question is how to control mind and never become, have a faith in mind like a cunning hunter has no faith in a captured animal. It means we can never.
Dharma helps control the mind.
It means we should never give up practice. If we become little loose and lax in practice, then there is a very chance that we will be easily, like a animal will run away from the hunter, so the mind will get out of the control. And this verse, when Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita, when he quoted this verse, what is the purport of this verse in Bhagavad Gita? Which particular angle Srila Prabhupada has used in Bhagavad Gita for this verse? Anybody remember?
He's speaking about Vivaha Yagya.
He is speaking about?
That sannyasis also encourage Vivaha Yagyas.
Yes. Prabhupada is using the word yagya should never be given up. So Vivaha is also yagya. So I as a sannyasi is still performing yagya for my disciples, because this verse says somebody should never give up yagya. Because usually the gyaan is when they take sannyas, they give up fire sacrifice and all these things. So it is something like that gyanis which give up all these things when they take sannyas. So they are easily tempted by the mind and again fall down. Therefore, our practice, for our devotion, yagya means sangeet and yagya. Dan means preaching Krishna consciousness. Highest dan is, according to nectar of devotion, what is the highest dadati principle? The highest dadati principle is giving holy name to other people. And tap for us is observing Ekadashi and say Janmashtami, so they should never be given up. If we become little loose in our practices of sadhana, then there is every possibility that mind will cheat us. Now, even one who has renounced the world, sannyasi, even one who has renounced the world and has taken sannyas should not renounce chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is a yagya. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra is a yagya. What is the evidence? Which verse you can quote from somewhere that chanting Yagyanam Jap Yagyasmi in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter. Among the opulence of the Supreme Lord, chanting of the holy name is a Jap Yagya, which is the opulence of Supreme Lord. Yagyanam Jap Yagya, yes. So chanting Hare Krishna is a Yagya, and of course chanting Hare Krishna is also Sankirtan Yagya and Bhagavatam Nam Sankirtan. So these are the two Yagya which should never be given up. Renunciation does not mean that one has to renounce Sankirtan Yagya. Now Prabhupada is making Sankirtan Yagya. Similarly, one should not renounce charity or tapasya. The yoga system for control of mind and senses must be strictly followed. Lord Rishabdev showed how severe type of tapasya could be performed, and he set an example for all others. Chakravarti Pal writes a few lines. Sukdev Goswami is saying, you have spoken correctly. The mystic power should not give problems. However, intelligent persons, AK, never put faith in mind. Why? The mind at every moment takes on a new condition. what is the meaning of this line? The mind every moment takes a new condition.
Jumping from one object to another.
Jumping
One thinking to
one thought to other thought. Now you have a thought, I should go to the temple and really listen Bhagavatam, and next moment he said, why should I go there today? Or the person who is giving class is not good. Maybe I should go and maybe take a little rest because I'm too tired. So mind immediately jump from one to other condition. Take on new
Kalpa
condition.
vikalpa.
Sankalpa vikalpa. This is a business of mind. It's a business of mind. It's never calm and peaceful. It's always filthy. So the nature of a mind that it takes on new conditions at every moment. Just new thoughts are coming. The many impressions even from last lives which are on the mind, they manifest. So mind is always agitated, fulcring, and becoming pure, the mind immediately becomes impure. It becomes pure and it immediately becomes impure. Some good example? Mind become pure and next moment it become impure.
One moment he's thinking of Krishna, then another moment he's thinking of sense gratification.
Yeah. I mean, say, Kans was immediately his mind changed when he heard the prophecy by the Durga in the sky. His mind completely become pure. And he said, oh, Vasudev Devaki, you go home. I'm sorry. This is something wrong is spoken by the celestial beings. Anyway, and next moment he met the bad association of his other lieutenants, and he immediately his mind become impure. Exactly. You can see the two statement, one near to Devaki and Vasudeva, and next to the his lieutenants. One moment is pure and then immediately impure. Some other, in our own practical application, we have this type of experience many times, right? The degraded kirat means hunter, cunning person, shastra, after showing friendship, kill the resulting person after robbing him. Okay. When we are reading this storyline, anything is coming in your mind? After showing its purity with power, not to be influenced by the lust and anger, one day the mind takes sadhak, who has become lax in effort to fall down by sudden appearance of lust and anger. When I am reading this line, cunning person after showing friendship, kill the trusting person after robbing him. Sanatana Goswami with his servant on the way, the person was giving him nice hospitality, but he was very intelligent person. He said, well, why is treating so nicely? There must be something. So he asked his servant, do you have some money? And he said, yes, I have some 8 golden coins. He said, just immediately give us, otherwise he will kill us. This type of mentality? This is what I'm saying. When you read any line like this, something is going on Prabhupada's mind, exactly when he's writing these philosophical points. This happened. Sanatana Goswami immediately gave the money and saved his life and the life of his servant, but still the Ishan kept the one golden coin. He said, you are not fit to go with me because this is going to kill us anyway. So people are good as long as they don't really get their particular benefit, and then they kill. And then is a philosophical point. Though the low-born person constantly studies Dharma and show good character, is trusted even in the treasury, he sometimes commits theft since his nature is difficult to give up. This we have so many examples in our ISKCON temples. So many people come from which we don't know from which background they are coming. They show a nice behavior for some time and we give them good responsible post, and all of a sudden sometimes they disappear, and they disappear with a good amount of money. We have some example in our own experience in the different temples. Yes, this is possible. Similarly, because their nature is like that. Similarly, though one trusts the mind which has been purified by sense control and mind control and has become fixed in hearing and meditation, the uncontrolled mind has become absorbed in sinful object when given the opportunity and take away discriminating knowledge. Take away discriminating knowledge. It means mind overrule intelligence. Discriminating is a function of intelligence. So mind overrule intelligence if the mind is left uncontrolled. Now, the verse 3, again, nature of mind. Tatha choktam na kuryat karaschit sakhyam. Therefore, never make a friendship with mind. Manasi. He avasthite, in any condition, never make a friendship with a restless mind. Anavasthite. It's not stable. Yada vishrambha chiracharam vishrambhat, for placing too much faith. Chirat, for long time. Chiranam, practiced. Chakshanda, become disturbed. Tapaha, the austerity. Aishwaram, of great person like Lord Shiva and great sage Sobari. This word Aishwaryam means the people who have great tapasya and got the opulences. So Srila Prabhupada writes, all the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by nature very restless, and one should not make friend with it. If we place full confidence in mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva become agitated upon seeing Mohini Murti, form of Lord Krishna. And Sobari Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yogic perfection. So Tapa Aishwaryam is the austerity of Shiva. So Srila Prabhupada's purport. The first business of one trying to advance in spiritual life is to control the mind and senses. To control the mind and senses. As Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivansa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasishtani indriyani prakrutistani karishyati. Although living it is part and parcel of Supreme Lord and are therefore in transcendental position, they are still suffering in this material world and struggling for existence due to mind and senses. So to get of the false struggle for existence and becoming happy in material world, one has to control the mind and senses and be detached from the material conditions. One should never neglect austerities and penance. One should always perform them. Lord Rishabdev personally showed us how to do this. In Srimada Bhagvatam, it is specifically stated, Matra swasra dvetra vana vikta asno bhaveta balavan indriya gramo vidavans api karishyati. A grasta, a vanparasta or a sannyasi and a brahmachari should be very careful when associating with women. One is forbidden to sit down in solitary place even with one's mother, sister or daughter. In our Krishna, Prabhupada is saying, in our Krishna conscious movement, it has been very difficult to dissociate ourselves from women. In our society, especially in Western countries, we are therefore sometimes criticized, but nonetheless we are trying to give everyone a chance to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thus advance spiritually. If we stick to the principle of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, this is the most important word, offenselessly, then by the grace of Srila Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur was not allured by association of Maya Devi, we may be saved from allurement of women. However, if we are not very strict in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we may at any time fall victim to women. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he has quoted first Bhagavad Gita, struggling with mind, soul is pure, and then he said, the struggling is in what? Struggling is with lusty desire. And therefore he warned even the sannyasi, all the four ashram, they should be very vigilant. And then he is giving the solution that only the way is if we chant Hare Krishna without offense, then Haridas Thakur blessing, by blessing of Haridas Thakur, which is actually Brahma, our sampradaya of our Acharya, and he by his blessing we can be protected from such a fall down. Chakravarti Paul writes, because of faith in the mind, once austerity practiced over a long time flows away. Aishwaram means related to Shiva, whose austerity was destroyed by seeing a form of Mohini, or it can refer to those who were expert in sense control, such as Shobari Rishi. So now if we use this verse for practical application, how can we control our sense and mind, senses and mind? What is the method for us to control the senses and mind in our practical life? Because that's most important for our advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Keep the mind engaged in Krishna consciousness, in seva. Yeah, work under direction of a senior devotee.
Okay, so mind should be, I think in our sadhana bhakti, the practice is, the bhakti is practiced by mind, body and words, right? Bhakti is practiced by body, mind and words. So Srila Prabhupada in purport of the, in a nectar of devotion, he writes, how to control mind. He said the mental culture of Krishna consciousness is to always think of pastime of Krishna in Kurukshetra and pastime of Krishna in Vrindavan. Anybody recall this from the nectar of devotion? The first thing we say that the practice of bhakti is by word, minds and body, mind and words. So for mind, Prabhupada writes, we engage the Krishna conscious culture of the mind is Krishna's pastime in Kurukshetra means Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan means Bhagavad. So if we are absorbed always in reading, discussing, speaking about Gita and Bhagavatam, then the culture of mind will always keep us engaged. Then for body, Srila Prabhupada writes, our body can only be engaged in service of Krishna when it is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. If you remember this, these are the lines and nectar of devotion. And then we also know the Sri Guru, Sri Vigraradhan Nitanana Shringaratana Mangal Mandar Marjanado. So the spiritual master engage our senses in the service of the deity worship. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, deity worship is a samadhi with open eyes. With open eyes, you just see the lotus feet of Lord, you decorate it with the sandal wood paste, with the tulsi leaves, you put the ankle bell. So you just meditate by the deity worship. And you see, this is the most important, the anga of the bhakti, the Shardhaya Sri Murti Seva. So these our senses are engaged. Cooking for the Krishna, dressing Krishna, offering arti to Krishna, our senses are engaged. And then our words are engaged by chanting holy name and by engaging in speaking about Krishna. So practically we should see every day, are we really engaging our mind, words and body in service of Krishna some way? Now we are going to the verse number 4. Any question till now?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
When we are saying in the verse that if we place full confidence in mind, we may be cheated. So how do we know is the mind is coming from mind or from intelligence?
So the function of intelligence is discrimination. Function of mind is thinking, willing, feeling. So we have to see the difference between the functioning of the two. And here Prabhupada said, the mind which is uncontrolled overrule intelligence. And Bhagavad Gita, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the example of infection caused by virulent organism is resistant to normal antibiotics. So similarly, mind infected with or obsessed with lusty thought will not listen to the mind, to the discriminating intelligence, which is like a treatment or a controlling authority for the mind, because it has become weak and the organism is very virulent, and therefore such a patient cannot be treated at home. So he has to be hospitalized, and he should take a regular medicine and diet. Then gradually he will recover. So practically what he is saying is, such a mind which is not listening to the intelligence should live in association of devotee at the ashram of Guru and regularly hear from the spiritual master and take prasad, and gradually make the intelligence superior power to control the mind. This is the purport in that verse in Bhagavad Gita. So intelligence has its function, which is higher than mind, but it becomes weaker because mind is uncontrolled. What you are saying actually is that this it is an intuition or mind. Sometimes actually it is more higher. Does it coming from the super soul or from mind?
Yeah.
We don't know. That is
Identifying it, breaking it down, like we have a thought.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to break it down. That is it coming from mind? Is trick from mind, or it's intelligence?
Now, intelligence function is really to discriminate the thought is good for me or bad, is good for my practice of devotional or bad. This is the function of intelligence. But something is, even for devotee, sometime really super soul also guide. Whether it's a mind or super soul, we don't know. Therefore, when Krishna told Arjuna Bhagavad Gita, I am in everybody's heart, Ishwar Sarvabhauma, Yantra Rudhani Maya, I am super soul, and then he says, Tamev Sharanam Gacha, You take shelter of the Paramatma or super soul within the heart. But Arjun said, no, I am sorry. It is super soul or it is mind, I don't know. So I am not going to take shelter of the super soul. Therefore, Krishna is ultimately to say, he has to say, Mam ekam sharanam. Then you take shelter of me, person, as your master, who can see you doing wrong and correct you. So, a living person on the top of us is necessary really to correct when we go a little astray. Mind or intuition or intelligence, if this somehow misguide, then we need somebody to really put us back on the right path. So it is the good association with the devotees that can save us from deviation by the mind's concoction and weakness of intelligence. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Prabhuji, I have a small question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, here Parikshit Maharaj is asking that why Rishabdev neglected mystic yoga, and Shukdev Goswami is answering about mind control. So I don't understand. I am not able to understand
Because
the.
if you accept the mystic power, next day the mind will say use it. And then you become popular, and then you will be carried away by those opulences, and you will forget your practice of devotion. Because mind cannot be trusted, because mind, this is something which I know. See the Ajamil. He's a Brahman. He's doing every day puja of Salangram Shila. He has a Brahmanical beautiful wife, young. He went just to take some wood and flower for the puja for the Salangram in the forest. But he saw some bad scene there. And then his mind said, anyway, I'm seeing what is the problem. I'm not touching. So mind have actually cheated him. Mind has cheated him. I'm seeing what is the problem in seeing. And as soon as he saw, then the process started. Dhyayate vishyan punsha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamad krodha vijayate. This is Bhagavad Gita. As soon as simply you just make a little mind loose, I'm seeing, what is the problem in seeing? And then mind will say, what is the problem in touching? I'm not doing anything. And then the mind will completely control your discriminating power, and you immediately get carried away by the emotion of whatever the attachment you have. So these mystic powers will bewilder your mind, and you think that now I am so powerful, I don't need anybody else, and I can be worshipped by people. So this is a problem of the mystic power. So mind control is because these opulence will, if he become a little loose in his austerities, this opulence will carry away his mind. So we have two more verses to answer the whole question.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Nityam dadati kamasya chidram tam anuye aryaha. Nityam dadati kamasya chidram. Chidram means hole, a loophole. If you give a loophole to the lusty desire, tam anuye aryaha. Aryaha, Ari is called enemy. Murari, Krishna is called Murari. He is the enemy of Mura, demon. Ari means enemy. Aryaha, Yogina Kirta Maitra said, that person who is making friend with that mind, if he give a little loophole, to the lusty desire, patayor jaeva punshachali. Punshachali means prostitute. Patayor means a husband. A husband has a loose wife. If he gives a little looseness, then the paramour will come and kill the husband. This is the analogy given in this verse. So, Srila Prabhupada writes, an unchaste woman, punchali, is very easily carried away by paramour. And it sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramour. Patiya, Jaya, like the wife, punchali, who is unchaste. Patiya of the husband. If the yogi gives his mind, so mind is like a unchaste wife, chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give a facility to enemy like lust, anger and greed. Kamasya, and does not and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. It means they will kill his yogic practices. The mind of a yogi who trusts it with the mind. Give opportunity, nityam chidram dadati. If he give opportunity, if he become little loose to lust, kamasya, and its followers, anger and greed, tam anu ye arya. Tam means lust and anu means followers. Ye arya, the enemies. Now, what are the followers of the lust? Bhagavad Gita verse. Yes, who are the followers of the lust? Yes, right. Kamesha kirodesha rajoguna samudbhava. So following the Kam is a Krodh. Kam is in mode of passion, Krodh is in mode of ignorance. So we degrade down and down. So Kam always follows, Krodh follows Kam. Therefore the another name for anger is Kamanuj. Kam Anuj. Anuj means one who follow or a younger brother behind you. Like Lakshman is called Ramanuj. Ram Anuj. One who walk behind Ram. A younger than Ram is Ramanuj. So Krodha or the anger is following lust. Just as trusting husband's loose wife gives opportunity to her lover, Patayor, Punchali, Jaya eva. The mind is like an unchaste wife. So mind is compared to unchaste wife. In this verse, the world, so if the mind is compared to unchaste wife, then who is the paramour? All the yogics, these are like paramour. They allure the mind and they will kill the practices of a practitioner yogi. In this verse, the word punchali refers to woman who is easily carried away by men. Such woman is never to be trusted. Unfortunately, in the present age, women are never controlled. According to the direction of the shastra, Prabhupada writes, Manu Samriti, woman has three, the girl always should be taken care by the parents, married, taken care by a husband. When husband takes sannyas or leave body, then should be taken care by a younger son. And Prabhupada writes, like child and woman, both needs strict control. Now Prabhupada writes, a spoiled woman being manipulated by paramour might even kill her husband. This example is given here because a yogi desiring to get free from material condition must always keep the mind under control. So mind is a unchaste woman. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that in the morning our first business should be to beat the mind with shoes 100 times. And before going to bed, to beat the mind 100 times with a broomstick. In this way, one's mind can be kept under control. An uncontrolled mind and unchaste wife are the same. An unchaste wife can kill her husband at any time, and an uncontrolled mind followed by lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, and illusion can certainly kill a yogi. One should be very careful of the mind, just as the husband should be careful of an unchaste wife. The cause is explained why mind should not be trusted. The mind of a trusting yogi gives an opportunity to lust and its followers anger and greed, which are enemies arise. Just as prostitute trusted by her husband gives opportunity to her lover and has her husband killed, the mind makes the yogi fall from his position by lust and other desires. I think in our own society we can see very exalted personalities. They gave up chanting Hare Krishna, and they were carried. Most of them were carried away by the lust, and they are back to the normal life of an ordinary person from a exalted position of a gurus and GBCs. This is in our moment is a vivid example, and most of them has given up chanting Hare Krishna. Last verse of this section. Kamo manayoho mado lobham shoka moho bhayadyaha karma bandhasya yanamulaha svikriyat kono tada buddha. Buddha means enlightened person. Sukritya means allow. He gives the he allows the mind. And what is the mind? The mind has all these 6 enemies behind him if it is loose. Kama means lust, manyo means anger, mad means madness, lobha means greed, shok means lamentation, and moha means illusion, and bhaya means fear, adi means etc. Karma bandha, and then he is bound by his action. Chayana mula, this is the root. This is the root cause. If the yogi gives he says yes, sukriya. Sukriti means yes. Konu, who will say yes? Who is intelligent? The mind is the root cause of lust, anger, pride, greed, lamentation, illusion, and fear combined. So, mind is the root cause of all these things. Combined, these constitute bondage of fruitive activities. What learned man would put faith in the mind? So mind is the root cause of 6 enemies. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya. So these 6 enemies. Okay, you have some, when we are reading, mind is the root cause of 6 enemies, something is coming in your mind? Something is coming in your mind? Marichi has 6 sons, and Marichi represent mind, and 6 sons represent this Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsara means lust, anger, greed, all these things. They represent their son are the byproduct of mind. So then they are analyzed in a Krishna book. The 6 sons of Devaki killed by Kansa were the 6 sons of Marichi, and they are lust, anger, greed, and all these representing this. And it is said there that Devaki is a bhakti, and these 6 enemies are the enemies of mind, and Kans is a fear. So because of the fear of Kans, when these 6 enemies are killed, then Balaram appeared to prepare a place for Krishna, and then Krishna appeared as a son of Devaki. And most of you have read this, but when you see like that, mind and 6 suns, then you can have this story in your mind. It's coming like that. Now you relate this.
What is Kans, you said?
Kans is represent fear.
Of fear.
Yeah, this is purport in the Bhagvatam 10th canto 2nd chapter, birth of Krishna. The 6 son of Devaki represent Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, which means all these 6 enemies: lust, anger, greed, envy, and all these things. And they are son of Marichi, which represent mind. So these are the root cause, 6 enemies which are son of mind. So Devaki represent bhakti. It means we are practicing bhakti, then we should be really always afraid and beat the mind with shoes and stick broom, that these 6 enemies which are the son of mind should be always under control. The mind is the original cause of material bondage. What it means actually, the rebirth is by uncoding the mind. There's a verse in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Vayur gandhani vashyat. As the air is carrying the aroma, so mind carries all the desires in the next body. So mind is the original cause of material bondage, means repeated birth and death. It's the mind which is the cause of everything. Such an anger, pride, greed, lament, illusion, and fear, they are all not where they are, and they are in the mind. The best way to control the mind is to engage always in Krishna consciousness. Savai mana Krishna padara vandayoha. Since the follower of the mind bring about material bondage, we should be very careful not to trust the mind. So always think about Krishna, always in Krishna consciousness. It means in practice of devotional service. So this verse describes the enemies mentioned in the last verse. Ari. Who are the Aris? These are the enemies. Who would trust mind, the root cause of lust, etc.? Which wise man will do this? Nobody. Now we have this these 5 verses over. This is a flow. Self-satisfied Atmaram like Rishabh, they do not have any desire for enjoyment. Hence, the mystic power should not bother them. Why then did Rishabh reject the mystic power? Sukdev Goswami to Parikshit. What you say is right, but intelligence people never put faith in unsteady mind, as it is like a degraded, cunning person. Why do you say so? Sometimes it show purity and with power, not to be influenced by lust and anger. And one day the mind makes the sadhak who has become lax in effort to fall down by the sudden appearance of the lust or anger. Therefore, it is said that one should never make friend with the unsteady mind. It quickly destroys the long-standing austerity of even Lord Shiva. The mind of the yogi who trusts it gives opportunity to lust, its followers anger and greed, just as trusting husband's loose wife gives opportunity to the lover. Hence, what intelligent person would trust the mind, which is the cause of all bad qualities like the lust and the cause of bondage by karma. So this is the flow of the whole story. Now we have these 3 more verses. Lord Rishabh's disappearance. And this much we will do today, and tomorrow, if Krishna so desire, we will finish this chapter. Now,
I have one question.
Yes, please.
No, it says it says that beat the mind with shoes and broomstick. That means what is the actual meaning? Like, we can't see the mind, so how it is.
Whatever the lusty thought it come in mind, you just spit on it that this is useless nonsense, I should not think about that. So whatever the bad thought comes, you just beat the mind with the shoes and broomstick. This is interesting. Anybody want to say something? What I mean, so this is something what is called phrase. This is a phrase. How practically you do that?
I thought that we mentally, in the morning, I actually literally took it that in the morning you wake up and in mind you think you have a broom in hand, a shoe in hand, and you beat the mind 100 times. Today you have to think of Krishna, and in the evening you actually contemplate on the areas that mind wandered and things you did. And again, you violated so many things. You did this, you did that. Better behave nicely tomorrow. It's a correction method that you morning and evening
Your
spend
mind,
some time.
in mind you curse the desires which are disturbing you, and the evening if some
Yeah.
are still left over, with broom you sweep them out.
Very nice.
Yeah. Curse the disturbing desire in the morning, and the evening whatever is left is still, you just wash them out. That's the broom and shoes. Anybody else has to say something? This phrase, what it means?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, it could also mean Vedic sadhana bhakti, that we have to do it with like strictness. You have to be really strict with the mind, and you can't let it get away with its thoughts and feelings.
So, you should be strict with your mind, what you are saying, yeah? Right?
Yes, Prabhu, just like in Vedic sadhana bhakti, we don't do it with feeling, but we do it with shastra. We are forced to do it in Vedic sadhana bhakti. So same thing, that we have to be strict with the mind.
All right, because we don't have a spontaneous mind thinking of Krishna, so we should forcefully engage the mind in the service of Krishna in a sadhana bhakti. That's what you are saying.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay,
Yes.
that's also good. Anybody else want to throw some light? Once a sadhu, he left for the Himalaya for sadhana. When he was on the way, he saw somebody making a sweet jalebis. So when he reached to his place where we were supposed to sit down and meditate, the jalebis were appearing in his mind. And he thought, oh, I should eat jalebi, then I can do practice. So what he did is, he came all the way back 100 kilometers to the shop of a sweet maker. But he was having no money. So how can he earn money? So he told the mind, okay, you want to eat jalebi? He said, yes, I have come all the way. He said, then you have to money. So where is the money? He said, oh, this building, there's some construction going on. Let me go and do the little job there. I can take some bricks and get few rupees. So he did for 4-5 hours some labor. Then he got few rupees, and then he went to the sweet meat and he purchased the jalebis. Now with those jalebis, with that sweet, he was sitting at the bank of river Ganga, and he was taking one jalebi and he was telling to his mind, you want to eat this? Mind says, yes, I want. I've done so much labor for this. Then he said, then you have to walk 100 kilometers. Are you ready to walk? He said, no, it's too troublesome. Then you have to work 6 hours or 8 hours to take the bricks for a construction company. Are you ready to do that? No. I am sadhu. I don't want to do this. Then why you want to eat jalebi? So he threw the jalebi in water. Then he took the another jalebi. And he said, now this jalebi you want to eat? The mind says, yes, at least I should eat this one. So are you ready to take, see your shoulder? You have the bruise with the bricks on your shoulder? Can you see the red marks there? Are you ready to do it again? No, no, no. Then throw the jalebi. So he was actually taming the mind like this, and he threw all the jalebis in Ganga. And then he told mind, now never do nonsense, and he walked back 100 kilometers and he went there and he sat down. Then mind never disturbed him. This is some story I read. This is how you have to really tame the mind. Tell that you want to do this, then you have to suffer like this. Are you ready for that? So this is the Rishabdev Maharaj, sir. Anybody else want to say broom and shoes? Huh? Lord Rishabdev was the head of all kings and emperors because he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was ruling this planet within this universe. But assuming the dress and language of an adhbhut, he acted as if dull and materially bound. Consequently, no one would observe his divine opulence. He adopted this behavior just to teach yogis. Now, this is the line important. He adopted this behavior just to teach yogis how to give up the body. Nevertheless, he maintained his original position as an plenary expansion of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, remaining always in that state. So he was in his original state, but he was teaching other people. He gave up his pastime as Lord Rishabdev within the material world. If following in the footstep of Lord Rishabdev, one can give up his subtle body, there's no chance that one will accept a material body again. To teach the yogis how to give up the body. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karam cha vedevyam evam yotetva. So one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance. So this is the Prabhupada is quoting this verse, how one can dissolve this subtle body and go back home, back to Godhead. This is possible simply by keeping oneself an eternal servant of Supreme Lord. One must understand this constant position and constant position of the Supreme Lord as well. Both have the same spiritual identity. Maintaining oneself as servant of the Supreme Lord, one should avoid rebirth in the material world. If one keeps himself spiritually fit and thinks of himself as an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, he will be successful at the time he has to give up the material body. So what Srila Prabhupada is, how to give up material subtle body and go back home, back to what Prabhupada is giving a simple method from Bhagavad Gita. Chakravarti rhyme, having finished the incidental topic of why Rishabdev did not welcome mystic power, because the question came, so he answered. Now Sukdev returned to the main topic. The main topic is Rishabdev now, after first he was living at a home like a detached man, then he was traveling everywhere, then he lived at one place as a python, then he was acting like animal with the animalistic people, and afterwards then he taught how to give up the body by imitating giving up the body. So he taught to give up body by imitating giving up the body, because his body is spiritual, he cannot give it up. He always saw himself as non-different from anartha antara bhavena Paramatma. He always saw himself non-different, without the obstacle of material body, imitating the conduct of an adhbhut. So he is acting as adhbhut is also imitation. Uparta anuvrti. He gave up his pastime as an avatar. Apararama. Desiring to give up his body means that he desired to give up the manifestation of his body in this world. This meaning will be evident in the next verse. Okay. So next verse, verse 7. Actually, Lord Rishabdev had no material body. But due to Yoga Maya, he considered his body material, and therefore, because he played like an ordinary human being, he gave up the mentality of identifying with it. Following this principle, he began to wander all over the world. While traveling, he came to the province of Karnataka in South India and passed through Konak, Venak and Kutak. He had no plan to travel this way, but he arrived near Kutakachal and entered a forest there. He placed a stone within his mouth and began to wander through the forest naked and with his hair disheveled like a madman. Wandering like a madman, Srila Prabhupada has no purport. Chakravarti Pad writes, this verse describes how he gave up his body. Though he was the Lord, he gave up the characteristic of the Lord, Mukta Lingasya, or he had the characteristic of a liberated soul. Just as yogi move from their body by influence of previous impressions, after they are liberated, like a finished part is still moving on the potter's wheel. Rishabdev, making an appearance of identifying with the body, continue to exist by impression which are a reflection of avidya, like the Jivan Mukta. However, Rishabdev was actually different. He existed by influence of Yoga Maya, by the impression of his desire to perform pastime like an adhbhut. Just as a small child puts anything that he receives in his mouth, Rishabdev had a stone in his mouth. He was naked. Last verse maybe for today. Attha samira vega vidhuta venu. Samir means air, veg means force, vidhuta means electricity, venu means the bamboo trees, vikrashna means rubbing, jata ugar davanal, and there was a great forest fire. Tadavanam, in that forest. Alehi hanaha satena dadaha, everything was burned along with the Rishabdev. So this is the verse says, while he was wandering about, a wild forest fire began. This fire was caused by the friction of bamboos, which were being blown by the wind. In that fire, the entire forest near Kutakachala and the body of Lord Rishabdev was burned to ashes. His body was burnt in a forest fire. Such a forest fire can burn external body of animals, but Lord Rishabdev was not burned, although he apparently seemed to so. Lord Rishabdev is super soul of all the living entities within the forest, and his soul is never burned by fire. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, adhyan, soul can never be burned. It is never burned by fire. Due to Lord Rishabdev's presence, all the animals in the forest were also liberated from the material enchantment. It has mentioned that he disappeared. How did this happen? This verse describes the event. In the fire burned up the forest along with Rishabdev. The fire burned up the grass, bodies of the trees and animals in that forest. Rishabdev burned up their subtle bodies. This is the Prabhupada has taken as Rishabdev delivered even the animals and trees in the forest. Rishabdev burned up their subtle bodies. Thus, by his mercy, all the animals and plants attained liberation. So, now this is the storyline in this section. Though he was Supreme Lord, he hid his nature by appearing dull-witted and behaving like an adhbhut. Desire to give an appearance of giving up his body for teaching the yogis on how to give up the body. His body wandered over the earth as if moving by Mahamaya, though actually he was under the influence of Yogamaya. Thus wandering, he reached the garden of Kutkachal in Karnataka. An intense forest fire created by rubbing of the bamboos burned up the forest along with Rishabdev. While the fire destroyed the grass bodies of the animals and trees of the garden, Rishabdev destroyed the subtle bodies and gave them liberation by his mercy. So now we have next section, which we will do tomorrow. Aharat will imitate Rishabdev and create a false religion. This section is 9 to 12 verses. And then then we have next section 13 to 9, glorification of Rishabdev's activities and glorification by sages. 13, 14 and so 13 to 19, glorification of Rishabdev. So two sections, these two sections we will do tomorrow. Is it okay? Now, you have any question or comment?
Prabhuji, regarding this burning of the body is Rishabdev. So his body is divya, transcendental, not matter.
So
why this burning is involved?
Therefore, Prabhupada is saying, like soul is never burned, so his body is made up of all the same material which the soul is made up of. So it was never burned. So Prabhupada quoted this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, as soul cannot be burned, so his whole body was Satchitanand. So it was not burned. But it's apparently it looked like it is burned. And then it says he made the subtle bodies of other burned because they saw Rishabdev there. So because seeing Rishabdev, they were also delivered. Even animals and trees were delivered. So that was his glory.
Nice.
But how he was teaching the yogis to give up body is actually the body should be given up in a place where you will have no known people around you. Because then at that time you will have affection for those people who whole life you have loved, and then your mind will be definitely attracted to them, and your last moment is very difficult to remember God. So it is better to give up a body where nobody knows you. So yogis give up body like in a forest like that, where therefore they have no attachment. This is the way yogis, it's not for devotees. They should, Prabhupada is teaching us how to give up body. Prabhupada in last days was teaching how to give up body. Always people should sit around about the person who is about to depart and chant holy name, and that is the best possible way to give up the body for a devotee. Therefore, it's most important to keep good relation with devotees, that when we are in need, when we have a last moment, they should stop all their activities and engagement and come and surround that person and chant holy name. That is the actually success of a devotional service. Therefore, devotee association is more important. And we have seen actually in Vrindavan, some elderly people, they were living, they were so nice, so many sannyasis, they cancelled their tickets of traveling and they were surrounding them and chanting for hours till they departed. We have seen this. So this is most important actual lesson we learn for the devotees, how to leave bodies, to keep the good relation with the devotees. As soon as they hear that somebody is sick, and then they should sit around and always chant for some, that is actually perfection of devotees departing from this world, as Srila Prabhupada himself exemplified.
Very nice.
Any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
There's one question in question bank. It says, explain in your own words and from your own experience, why Maharaj Rishabdev neglected his mystic powers. Now, I think about this question. Lord Rishabdev, he's the Supreme Lord, right? So why he has any need to
teach
exercise
us
mystic power and potencies?
No, he wanted to teach us that if you get mystic power, never trust your mind, because they can carry your mind away, and you will fall from the acquired position. So, like we can say Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the need for him to go and bow down to the Vasudha and Devaki every day? Just to teach example that you have to teach your dependents how they should behave. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. I have nothing to do, but still I am doing everything, simply that people should not imitate me and become useless and Varna Shankar. So Rishabdev rejected the mystic power to teach the yogis that they should not be allured by mystic power. Otherwise, even I as a God is not accepting, how you are accepting. And if you accept, then there is a very chance that at one point your mind will cheat you and you will fall. In our experience also we can say, this is we don't have a, Prabhupada said in devotees has these some mystic siddhis. At least I have seen Vak Siddhi. Vak Siddhi means you say and it happens. Sometimes the devotees say and it happens, people come. Sometimes because you are chanting holy name for last 30, 40 years, definitely there is, when you speak something, it comes true. And the 10 people tell you, what you said, what you said, Prabhu, it came true. What you said, it came true. And then you will alone, now I have got a mystic siddhis, and then you stop chanting Hare Krishna, and then everything will be finished. It happens. People say that you said this and this happened, you said this and this happened. You may have this experience.
Prabhuji, I want to share one thing, Prabhuji.
Yes?
Prabhuji, we met you in Vrindavan 4-5 months, around 6 months back, and you said that why don't you make one kutia in Vrindavan? And Prabhuji, within 1 month we got one room. I just still remember that was your blessings. We had no plan, we have never thought, and just you said that why don't you make one kutia in Vrindavan, and within 1 month we got one room. Prabhuji.
So I have walked siddhi, so I am rejected. This happens, I am telling you, this happens. This is, we go to the deity, generally we go to see the deities and we see the nice mango at the lotus feet of deity. I said, oh Krishna, this prasad looks very nice. You have honored this, then why not? And in a moment we see the pujari go there and he just take that and put in the hand of Radharani and then put to Krishna and bring and give. And so we have seen this man. You might have such experience in your life also. Because Krishna, as a Paramatma from inside, inspire the pujari to do what you are thinking. You have this type of experience? Tyagi, you have?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
We were in Sri Radharaman temple, Guruji, and I was with my family, with my brother and my sister-in-law and with my niece. And my brother, he was standing in front of the deities, and he saw the pujaris, the acharyas, they were giving prasadam to some special devotees. And my brother asked me, how we can get the prasadam. And I was like, don't worry, just don't worry. Krishna will arrange. And then within 5 minutes, the acharya somehow, he just came and he asked my brother to come nearby because he was carrying my niece. And this pujari, he gave a special prasadam in the hand of my niece.
Yeah, Krishna reciprocate with most of the devotees in these ways just to keep their devotion going on. But if they think that we have become perfect, then there is every possibility that they will become loose in their chanting and things will go down the hill. So we should not be carried away by this.
Definitely, Prabhu. I just told my brother that because Krishna is sitting in your heart as a super soul, that he is also there.
Yeah.
Because you had a desire. Krishna
This is a mechanism. Krishna works like that. Anybody else want to share something? You have some mystic powers? Huh? Don't be carried away by that.
Now, one more experience. I just work at aged care because I'm a nurse, and one of the nurse, she asked me actually last week. She has just applied for permanent residency, and she asked me because she knows I'm a devotee, and she's like, when I'm gonna get my permanent residency? And because I'm just trying to inspire her to chant Krishna's holy name, and she's been chanting lately 1 or 2 rounds. And then I told her, I just got this inspiration in my heart. Krishna Janmashtami is on 7th of September. And then I told her, get your PR before 7th of September. And I was like praying to the Lord, if you desire so, if she gets her permanent residency before 7th of September, she may try sincerely to become your devotee. Yesterday she texted me that she got her permanent residency. And I was like, it is only by the mercy of the Lord. So please start chanting on the beats at least 2 rounds every day.
So what we all are discussing is Srila Prabhupada wrote in a first purport that by simply doing Krishna consciousness practice and devotion, the perfection of mystic yoga automatically come to the devotees. But they never use them for any opulence. If at all they have those, they can use it for the service of Krishna. Because nobody should trust mind, that Rishabdev is teaching us. In one line, Rishabdev is teaching us, nobody should trust a filthy, unsteady mind. It's like a unchaste woman.
This is the example of Rupa Goswami who neglected the touchstone he had, right, and left it in the garbage, basically.
Yeah, that's what. This is also something like that. Then you will have a gold, and then you will forget the. He said, "Holy name is better touchstone than this touchstone." They will make only gold, the iron gold, but the devotee can make the other devotee. So as you say, it's called Sant and Paras mein bado antar. There's a big difference between the touchstone and its saintly people. Touchstone only makes the iron gold, but the devotee makes the other person a devotee. Like he can make the touchstone, many touchstones. Touchstone cannot do that. So the devotee is more powerful than touchstone.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, see you tomorrow, Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much.
Gauranga, Gauranga.
Thank you, Guru. Hare Krishna.
Vanchapatidana Pavana Vaishnava Namo Namaha.
I have one realization.